Expensive energy drives deindustrialization. In recent months, many familiar fundamentals of Germany's economic model have been called into question. What's next for Germany as an industrial location? When Chancellor Olaf Scholz travels to China these days, he will be accompanied by a number of managers, mainly from large industrial companies. The heads of BMW and VW will be there, as will those of the major chemical companies Bayer, BASF and Merck. They all have a great interest in continuing to produce in China. After all, we have a very profitable China business, half of the market is there, said BASF CEO Martin Brudermüller, for example, in recent days, before asking the question, what is actually the risk of a company if it gives up half of the market? Indispensable China business. So China remains indispensable for many companies. And yet, since the Communist Party Congress a few days ago, doubts have arisen as to whether the previous cooperation still has a future. Up to now, many German companies have obtained cheap energy for Germany as an industrial location primarily from Russia, while the cheap primary products and raw materials have largely come from China, so that they can then manufacture high-quality products in Germany and export them at correspondingly high prices. Since the Russian war of aggression on Ukraine, this can no longer be true. Accordingly, attempts are being made to change course quickly, to balance out the demand for gas through the rapid construction of liquefied gas terminals, and to drive forward the expansion of renewable energies more quickly than before. And many companies, particularly energy-intensive ones, are scaling back production or partially shutting down business areas in order to cope with rising energy prices, at least in the short term. Germany as an industrial location is coming under increasing pressure, says Jupp Zientzen, economic expert at the Association of German Chambers of Industry and Commerce, DIHK. In the short term, this is also reflected in falling order intake. Downward trend. In the long term, the downward trend has been evident for years. While industrial production still contributed 22.8% to gross value added in Germany in 2016, it was 20.8% last year. And this trend is likely to continue, fears Eric Heyman, economist at Deutsche Bank Research. 10 years from now, when we look back on the current energy crisis, we can see this period as the starting point for accelerated deindustrialization in Germany. Ulrich Kater, chief economist at Deutsche Bank, takes a similar view. The energy-intensive companies that have now partly shut down their production will not ramp it up as they did before the crisis. This is because production can be done more cheaply in other parts of the world. It is not a question of converting this in the short term. But when it comes to investment decisions in the future, they will probably be made more often than before in favor of other locations, such as North America. One of the main reasons for this is cheaper energy. In addition, supply chains were disrupted during the corona crisis. As a result, many companies decided to bring more production back to Germany. But the reverse is also true. Companies will produce more locally, so the many German companies with global production will also shift more production abroad. And China, too, will continue to close itself off and will no longer want to import as many products, warns Kater. Industrial jobs in Germany will thus come under pressure. Because many less qualified jobs would be lost in the future due to even more automation. But all this is likely to happen in longer periods of 4 or 5 years. The current challenges posed by China and the energy crisis, however, have also highlighted other deficits in Germany as a business location. We have been observing an erosion of the quality of the location for years, says Jörg Kremmer, chief economist at Commerzbank. This was somewhat masked in recent years by the good business in China, but now it is being brutally exposed. Kremmer points above all to the numerous deficiencies in the infrastructure and the fact that it is taking far too long to remedy them. Infrastructure development as a break block. In its coalition agreement, the Traffic Light Coalition had announced that it would speed up infrastructure development in the first year of its term in office. However, a corresponding package of laws by Transport Minister Volker Wissing is stuck in the departmental vote due to opposition from the Greens. The rapid expansion of LNG terminals could serve as a model for faster, less bureaucratic approval procedures. Deindustrialization is not just a horror scenario of the trade associations, warns the Commerzbank chief economist. If these problems are not addressed, The large companies would offer less production and jobs in Germany in the future. But the smaller companies will not have this way out. For German SMEs, especially in the energy-intensive sectors, adapting to a new energy world will be a major challenge, and some companies will fail. Eric Heyman of Deutsche Bank Research is convinced.